Garp returns from the war and visits Luffy's hometown, only to receive a cold welcome from the Don. Meanwhile, Luffy is still inconsolable after the death of his brother. As Jinbei watches over him, desperate to ease his friend's suffering, he recalls something that Ace once said.
On the next One Piece, I want to see them Luffy's mournful cry. I'm gonna be king of the pirates.
Luffy thinks of his friends, scattered across the seas. Involved in their own struggles, they all search for ways to return to Sabaody. When news from the War of the Best reaches them, they realize the situation is even more complicated than they feared.
On the next One Piece, Straw Hat's in shock. The bad news has reached them. I'm gonna be king of the pirates.
Determined to return to Sabaody and keep his promise to his crew, Luffy prepares for departure. However, when Dark King Rayleigh appears and makes him a surprising offer, Luffy is forced to make a decision that could alter the fate of his entire journey on the Grand Line.
On the next One Piece, reunited with Dark King Rayleigh, decision time for Luffy. I'm gonna be king of the pirates.
Worried about their captain, the Straw Hat Pirates concoct plans for a speedy escape. Unfortunately for Nami, this lands her in a jail cell. Meanwhile, Frankie searches for a ship that can deliver him from his frozen surroundings. A trip to a secret lab gives him hope and danger alike.
On the next One Piece, back to our captain. A jailbreak at the Sky Island and the incident on the Winter Island. I'm gonna be king of the pirates.
Zoro makes a wild dash to the sea as Mihawk watches on. Will the Master Swordsman impart wisdom to Zoro? Or will their reunion end in another deadly duel? Meanwhile, Luffy begins a daring plan of his own.
On the next One Piece, encounter the great swordsman Mihawk. Zoro's self-willed deadly struggle. I'm gonna be king of the pirates.
After learning of Ace's death, Sanji plots to return to Sabaody. However, his plans are thwarted when Ivankov makes his long-awaited return to the Kamabaka Kingdom. Burning with determination, Sanji begins a fierce battle with his pride on the line.
On the next One Piece, a disaster for Sanji. The Queen's return to the kingdom. I'm gonna be king of the pirates.
Although Navy headquarters was left in ruins after the War of the Best, Marines and reporters still stalk its grounds. Luffy, Rayleigh, and Jinbei return to where Ace lost his life to carry out a mysterious plan. The world is shocked, but will Luffy's crew understand his actions?
On the next One Piece, unexpected re-landing. Luffy to Marineford. I'm gonna be king of the pirates.
Luffy's latest incident in Marineford quickly becomes worldwide news. Although his exploit was a success, it seems to cause little but bewilderment to all who hear it. His strange message has met its target, but will his friends understand the next stage of his plan?
On the next One Piece, with hopes it will reach my friends. Big news spreading fast. I'm gonna be king of the pirates.
Luffy's crew receives his message. Meanwhile, a battle to become one of the 4 emperors breaks out among pirates now in the New World. As the fighting intensifies, a Navy admiral appears to wipe out the pirates.
On the next One Piece, pirates get on the move. Astounding new world. I'm gonna be king of the pirates.
As Luffy's message reaches Witheria and Baltimore, Nami and Frankie decide to plot a new course of action for themselves. Meanwhile, Sanji discovers that the Kamabaka Kingdom may have something valuable to offer him, as long as he's willing to fight for it.
On the next One Piece, living through hell, Sanji's fight for his manhood. I'm gonna be king of the pirates.
Their reunion on hold, each member of the Straw Hat crew finds a new goal to strive for. Thankfully, their surroundings are ripe with opportunity. Determined to push forward into the new world, they vow to show their captain a new strength the next time they meet.
On the next One Piece, I will get much, much stronger. Zoro's pledged to his captain. I'm gonna be king of the pirates!
Plotting a course for his future, Luffy leaves Amazon Lily behind and travels with Rayleigh to the deserted island of Ruskaina. There, he struggles to unlock an arsenal of new abilities as he goes head-to-head against the giant creatures that inhabit the island.
On the next One Piece, Luffy's training begins to the place we promised in 2 years. I'm gonna be king of the pirates! Subscribe, you guys! Join our crew!